Hi, I'm Eshkalar, the world's greatest Canadian wizard, and I, while the gods laugh, the world's Vortex M. Or some junk. Anyway, I have been selected by RedBeard Pirate Radio as their meteorological, ecological, and climatological correspondent. Can you imagine a bigger mistake? So, because they're like supplying me with skunk on the side, I thought I'll put my best effort this way. Just this once. An icon of chaos will take all the myriad of literally quintillions of data and put them together into one short presentation to inform you, the viewer. Well, and you too, but please put your pants on. You're distracting me. About a very important ecological issue. How about that, huh? Oh, your old pal Eshkalar, he's looking out for you. So, this is Eshkalar on animals and climate change. Yeah. Worried about meat farming and ranching creating meteorological catastrophes? Huh? I worry about climate change too. But I read a lot of science literature, PU for plot and tension, and perhaps arrive at the questions from a different angle. The Earth has a very long history, according to current peer-accepted ideas and hypotheses. During that history, geologists and geophysicists, folks who like to study rocks, the one does it out in the world and the other one does it in a lab. Well, the other one does it in front of his PC. Have claimed with general acceptance that the generic climate of Earth has changed drastically. Geophysical epochs are far more vast than biocentric ones, of course, for the Earth is, in current thought, old, old, old compared to the lives of species, and not to mention the individuals within those species. Whatever. Geology suggests that Earth's weather is modified over epochs so long that even a Hindu would go tongue-tied trying to describe it, and the Hindus know a lot of big numbers, and if you don't know why that's funny, you're not a Hindu. 100 million years of generally warming trends, followed by 100 million years of generally cooling trends. Yeah, geophysical meteorological epochs. Yeah, it's like that. A couple warmer cold winters, like we've had, is statistically insignificant against those larger claims. And that ain't all, folks. It's a known fact, and I hate to admit science as an edifice has access to important standalone facts, that the amount of sunspot activity along the solar equator, because all the planets are arranged around the sun like on a record disc, and the solar equator points straight along that disc, has an awful lot to do with cyclic trends in Earth's weather. Those sunspots, the ones along the equator of the sun, have a lot to do with our weather. Yep, it's true. More equatorial sunspots equal more solar radiation pouring earthward. Ask a guy with glasses. He'll know. That's because, by the way, a sunspot is a hole looking into deeper processes in the sun. And so radiation doesn't have all the blockage of all the material in front of it as it tries to push its way out. It just like zooms right out. And if those sunspots are along the equator, wow, that zooms right out towards Earth. Yeah, and we get more energy from the sun when those happen. Heat drives the weather engine. Now let's see, and solar sunspots seem to follow a series of generic cycles over time. Is that Twilight Zone or astrophysics? Personally, I like the Twilight Zone theme better than the astrophysics theme, but probably it's astrophysics. Disappointing, I know, but more dependable over the temporal life of a man or woman or alternate blended gender person. A lifespan of a human being runs about 72 years. A human generation is generalized for simplicity, after all we can't all be Murray Gell-Mann, to equal about 25 years. The basic cycle of sunspots is 11 years. The best resonant period, as far as climate effect goes, is 22 years. Go back and read the old weather reports. Pretty stunning coincidences, even sexier than the Lincoln-Kennedy debate. So yeah, the climate changes according to cycles both ancient and to a certain extent predictable. That's what your farmer's almanac is. a prediction based on cycles past. Is that all there is to it? Of course not. Otherwise, we'd all be geniuses, not just Murray Gell-Mann. The other factors are difficult to isolate, but these are the generally accepted ones. 1. Change of vegetation over large zones through several avenues of effect. The Sahara, for instance, reflects a lot more sun now than it did as a green wilderness. That impacts the Sahara, of course, but also impacts rainfall elsewhere, because air doesn't just stand still. It moves in large masses across the globe at considerable speed, picking up water, dropping water, picking up water, dropping water. As it warms, it picks up more water if it's over water. And as it cools, it drops that water. That's weather. Pacific rain clouds drop most of that captured moisture when they hit the continental divide. Blast. That's why there's a desert on the other side. The drying up of the Caspian Sea is affecting regional climate. Also over in Europe, yeah. And the continental system of highways and asphalt covered earth significantly affects our weather here in the United States. Yeah. Something conveniently ignored during the climate change debates. Cities, pursuant to this claim, are huge heat sources. And as thermodynamics teaches, heat drives the weather engine. Yeah, all that concrete, all that asphalt, all those cities are reflecting huge amounts of sunlight. Yeah, and absorbing and releasing at night. Think about it. Heat drives the weather engine. Number 2 is carbon dioxide, a natural product of a healthy biome, and a common waste gas from almost every human activity, from nuclear power to sex. Personally, I'm in favor of the latter. It is generated also from volcanic seeps, sometimes to deadly effect. Google Cameroon's burping lakes for more about it. It's a thing. Carbon dioxide is a heavy gas, which means it likes to concentrate near the surface, locally exaggerating its effect per unit of atmosphere, like over cities. Yeah. 3. Methane seeps from mines, melting permafrost, oceanic and other volcanic exudations. Oil deposits give off methane when they're mined. What do you think they're burning off? Rotting biomass. And poo. Lots and lots of poo, all releasing methane. There are other sources too. Climate change is not a topic for a 5-minute television gloss over. Television, by the way, does not smarten up. It dummies down. There are reasons for that. But, and it's a big but, back to poo for a moment. Not every human wins a Nobel Prize for groundbreaking perspective changes in particle physics, but everyone makes poo. And so do dogs. And wildebeest, coyotes, koalas, mate, and sadly, the Siberian flying squirrel. Sorry, I have a moment here. Poo is a big methane producer, and as is every digestive system on every familiar animal, including us. Yeah, even pop idols, like Lady Gaga, have to produce a lot of methane or explode, as South Park clearly demonstrates. And let me tell you, lady, vegans produce a lot more methane than carnivores, at least before they die. And yes, I mean you, Richard Simmons. There are far more humans in the world than there are cows or pigs, or dogs, or tigers, or, sadly, Siberian flying squirrels. Love you, baby. So yeah, in the methane debate, we outrank, pun intended, all our herbivoric friends are food beasts. Yeah. So if you want to point a finger, point one up your butt. And we'll watch you explode from a respectful distance. I mean, have you ever seen a whale carcass? I digress. The point of animals spawned or contributed to climate change naturally extends to the age of dinosaurs, where there was more biomass. There were larger grazers and browsers, more food being transferred into methane quicker. If animals caused or were implicated as major causative vectors in, say, the Chad incident, Then what about the dinosaurian epoch? Did climate change because of them? Because of it? And an associated question. If everyone in China all flushed the toilet at the same time, would that precipitate climate change? I mean, you'd need to build a whopping great load, pun intended, of porcelain to supply the billion Chinese living without mankind's greatest invention, because nature invented the orgasm, so it doesn't count, just to run the test. All that industrial activity might change the balance of greenhouse gases, right? Yeah. The interconnectedness of all things, man. The interconnectedness of all things, man. And that's your lecture for today from Eshkalar, RedBeard Pirate Radio's new meteorological ecological consultant. See what you think. Leave a like and subscribe. And don't forget, I don't have a Patreon because I don't need money. I'm happy as I am. Money would make me frustrated and angry. Can you imagine? Chaos rules.